We are now in the second half of 2025, and with that, I just wanted to come on here real quick and say what my most anticipated movies are for the second half of the year. Now, there was one on this list that I had to remove because by the time I've recorded this video, I've already seen that movie, and there's going to be a review of that one later. But regardless, let's start off with the one that's coming up the soonest, Superman. Superman is directed by James Gunn and stars David Corenswet as Superman, and is the start to James Gunn's DC Universe after his other two starts to his DC Universe. Now, I'm somebody that was, in fact, a Henry Cavill Superman stan, and when Henry Cavill was booted out, it did affect me. I was not very happy with that. But, I'm always willing to accept a new approach to something familiar, okay? So, when James Gunn mentioned he would come up with his own Superman movie and it would be a different actor, I didn't mind that at all. In fact, I looked forward to it because, I could always use a Superman movie. Could I always use the origin being told over and over again? No. I think by this point we all get it, right? But I'm really excited for this one because of the tone and direction that it's going for. It looks very comic book like. It looks very lighthearted. It looks like it's going for that tone of hope that Superman is really about. And I think it has a really interesting cast too. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. Never thought I'd ever see that before, ever. And, even in fan castings, I don't think I've ever seen that, but it's an interesting choice. Yeah, just overall, Superman, I think, is going to be really great. I'm looking forward to seeing it at this point, in a week from now.
Lathrop, I know you're out here. Just come in before the monkeys spot you.
Yeah! Wicked last year was unironically and unashamedly my favorite movie of last year. The music, the pageantry, everything about it. It took me for a ride. I loved it. And here it comes with the sequel. I see the trailer and I'm like, yes, give me more of that, right? I don't know, man. I'm really looking forward to it. In the first one, Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo worked off of each other so well. Like, I bought it, I bought their dynamic. And I'm just hoping that they can kind of keep that momentum going here in the sequel, especially considering that they filmed the two parts back to back. Hopefully that, means that there wasn't enough of a lapse that they kind of had to relearn their characters and, not start out from scratch, especially now that in this part of the story, Elphaba and Glenda are going to be more at odds with each other. So it's going to be interesting to see how that forms. I've never seen the play or anything. I'm not that much of an Oz stan. I'm a mild Oz fan. So Wicked is a story, the book, the play. I've never really experienced that, right? But the original The Wizard of Oz is one of my favorite films of all time. And Wicked as a story has always interested me, but I've never really, experienced it for myself. So I'm really into this. I was all about it. When I walked out of the movie, the first time, I was obsessed with it, man. I played the soundtrack, and as soon as the movie went for pre-order, I got it. This one I think is gonna be just as good, if not better. At least that's what the trailers are making it look like. I don't see a timeline where I don't like this sequel. But because of how much I love the first one, of course I'm going to have my reservations about this one. And I'm just so terrified that at its best, it'll be just okay. And at its worst, it's going to be bad. But I guess we'll see when the time comes. But Wicked for Good, it can't get here fast enough. Alright, so far on this list, we have a superhero movie and we have a musical. But from here on out, the list is going to get just a little bit darker, starting off with weapons. Weapons is directed by Zach Krieger, who directed Barbarian, which was one of my favorite films the year it came out, and was Zach Krieger's directorial debut. I really love Barbarian, and I really think that this looks really good, even from the little bit of marketing we've been getting for it. Zach Krieger, I really like as a performer. I'm actually a fan of The Whitest Kid You Know, a comedy troupe that he was in, for those that actually don't know. And I really like him as a writer-director now. I think he's a really smart guy, really talented, really funny. And I think that sense of humor that he put into Barbarian is not going to be in Weapons. At least it doesn't look like it. For those that don't know, Weapons is about a classroom, just a specific classroom of kids that one night all get up out of bed at a certain time in the morning or certain time of night and just run off and leave and just disappear, and no one has any idea of what happened to these kids. And that's really all you get so far. I haven't really, if there have been more trailers, I haven't really been watching them. I kind of want to go into the movie cold, but from what I have seen, I'm so intrigued. I can't wait for this movie to come out, especially with how much I love Barbarian. I think Weapons is going to be just as good, if not better. And again, it doesn't look like it's leaning into any sort of comedy at all, whereas Barbarian did. Barbarian had like a sarcastic tone to its horror in some parts too, even though it took itself very seriously. It had some twisted levity in it in some parts. This one doesn't really look like it's going to do that. And I don't know, that could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing, because maybe that's Zach Krieger's style, and, you know, he could be wearing himself thin. I don't know. But I think this looks thoroughly good, and I'm really looking forward to it.
What do you see that I don't?
Coming up at the number 2 spot, even though I'm not technically ranking these, it's him.
What are you willing to sacrifice? Say it! Say it! Everything!
Him is a psychological horror being directed by Justin Tipping that is understandably being credited as a Jordan Peele film, but Jordan Peele did not direct this. He's just producing it. Though, you know, his name is big enough that, yeah, he would be given top billing. But I am so intrigued by this movie. I've seen the teaser like 3 times when I've gone to the movies this year, and each time it just does not wear thin on me at all. Like I'm more pumped to see the movie each time I see the teaser. The premise surrounds a young man, a young aspiring football player who goes to train with his football idol. And it looks like it's going to dive into like the horrors of trying to achieve perfection. And I've seen this movie be described, or at least be described as it looks like Black Swan, but with men. And I mean, maybe it could be that. I don't know. I really like Black Swan, so if it ends up being that, I'll be kind of disappointed, because it'll just, you know, it could be just a retread. I mean, I hope not. I hope it's more original than that. But I think this looks really cool and really original. It's a sports horror movie. You know, that's a concept that, at least to my knowledge, has not been addressed before. So bring it on, man. I'm really looking forward to this too.
And show me.
And lastly, a film whose teaser brings a big dumb smile to my face every time I see it. Together.
You know, this could be the beginning
When you roll over, you're on my hair.
of something wonderful.
Tim.
Together is directed by Michael Shanks and distributed by Neon, and follows a young couple who go up to have a vacation up at a cottage in the countryside and are quite literally attached at the hip. This movie, I am so stupidly excited for. Look, I like A24 when they go horror, and I really like their horror movies. They're really good horror movies. Neon makes insane horror movies. They go completely ballistic. They want you to crawl in your skin. And Together looks like it's going to be one of those movies. It looks like it's going to be one of those movies that when you see it and you like it, despite you liking it, you come away feeling bad watching it. You're like, oh, that was uncomfortable, but I got to watch that again. And I love it when horror does that. At the risk of sounding like a crazy person, I do. I love it when horror does that, because I love it when art can just evoke a strong emotion out of you like that. And this movie looks like it's gonna be one of those horror movies. I mean, it's a body horror movie. That sort of body horror's MO, you know. I don't know what the general consensus of Dave Franco is just publicly, but I personally like him as an actor. I've never disliked him in anything that I've seen him in, though I have disliked things that he's been in. But him as an actor, I like just fine. And I don't think, as of yet, I've seen him in a horror movie. So this could be really interesting. And Alison Brie, I like fine. Yeah, I think this movie is going to be really cool, man. And again, I hope that I go into this movie, I see it, I love it, and then I come out of it just sick to my stomach and just ready to go back to it again, because that's just the kind of ride I'm looking for when it comes to a movie like Together. So those are some of my most anticipated movies of the second half of 2025. I'd like to know what some of yours are. Or are they the same as mine? Do you agree with me? Do you think that, yeah, those are going to be some of the heavier hitters of 2025? Let's talk about it down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one that may or may not involve dinosaurs. Take care.